back to Hyperfocus Brand Review. Today, again, we have Jan with us.
Yo.
And we have a pretty exciting brand that we're going to review. I think Jan is going to be a little bit more qualified than I am today on this one because we're talking about football. And yes, I'm an Englishman, but I have pretty much no interest in football. It's just the way I grew up. I suppose I was doing more interesting things with my time.
Yeah, but we are not talking about like the actual sport. We're talking about the brand.
But I think it still has a lot to do with the brand, the DNA of the brand, let's say.
And the history, yeah. Of course, sure.
Okay, the format is, as usual, we'll go through the bits and pieces of the brand and we're going to discuss it. It's the first time that we've seen this or we've actually discussed it together. So it's always interesting to see the reaction of Jan and also just discuss off the cuff. And at the end, we'll be scoring the brand from our perspective. So I think without further ado, let's jump straight into this one. I'm pretty excited about it.
Today we are talking about the Football Club Internazionale Milano, aka Inter Milan.
Mm-hmm. Or Inter Milan,
Inter
depending
Milan.
where you come from.
We say in Germany,
have this problem, right?
Inter Milan in Germany. Yeah, so yeah, as you said, I mean, I like sports in general, but especially football. So I watch a lot of football. It's my thing.
I like sports too. Just football never captured my imagination. Actually, it's a little bit of a lie because I did play for our local team, for our town, city, as it were.
Which position?
I was midfield.
Midfield.
And I was pretty good. I was a pretty good football player.
I expected you to be the goalkeeper, to be honest.
What? Can I swear on camera?
Or at least like a very large, tall,
or just stand
defender,
in the way of everybody.
Very strong.
No,
defender.
I mean, I had a good right foot. I was a good football player.
Okay.
But skateboarding came along, and I lost interest.
Yeah. So my active football career is also not worth mentioning, but I like football.
All right, let's talk about brands, shall we?
Yes. So Inter Milan. Inter Milan.
Mm-hmm.
Inter Milan.
Let's go with that.
Just some basic facts about the club. So it was founded back in '98, and because they were like a part of, they actually came out of the city rival, the AC Milan.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was they thought they wanted to integrate international players as well. And AC Milan back in the days was just having Italian players. So that's why they're also called International Inter. But they still have a problem with racism. So it's not that they are like, nowadays pretty open to every nationalities. Anyway, so the AC Milan was more like the workers' club in the early days, and Inter became like the club for the citizens and the artists and the intellectuals. It's for sure it's one of the most famous and successful teams in soccer history. I mean, like
football, please.
Yeah, sorry. And I mean, players like Lothar Matthäus, the original Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic played there. Right now, they are owned by a Chinese company called Suning Group.
Okay,
but
is that a common thing at the moment? That Chinese companies buying up football clubs?
I mean, all kind of companies buying football clubs.
Okay,
Russian and Chinese.
I didn't know the Chinese were in on the game, but
I mean they love football too. The Chinese.
Okay,
it's a big thing. But it looks like they want to sell it again. But we don't get too deep into this. Right now, Inter is at the first place in the Serie A, and it looks like they're gonna win the championship this year.
Which championship is that? God, I'm going to say lots of dumb things.
I mean the Italian.
Okay,
the national championship.
Uh-huh.
All right. So to give you also some context, there was like one big rebranding from an Italian football club from Juventus Turin 2 years ago, which was Yeah, pretty remarkable because they really went from a very traditional shield to a much more iconic logo, and that was definitely a big step. And
Was this controversial?
yeah, I think
Time, yeah, in the community.
yeah, a lot of, because football is all about tradition, and they like the hardcore fans, they need to get used to this kind of stuff.
Okay.
They definitely hate it at the beginning. And yeah, Juventus really had this more. They want to become more like a premium lifestyle brand and get into fashion and this kind of stuff. And we see also the same is happening to Paris Saint-Germain with their partnership with the Jordan brand, and then obviously Paris being like the fashion city. So this is like some kind of trend we see in football. All right, so yeah, let's have a look what they have done. So they also changed their logo. So they have like a new brand values, which are innovation, passion, and inclusivity. So this is what they actually want to communicate with their new rebranding. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at what happened before. Like, how is the logo history? How it looks like. We have here like a pretty nice overview about the logos from the last 100 years.
This is actually something that excites me. I think it's actually probably my first introduction into graphic design. When I was a kid, I collected football stickers, I think, as most of us did. And I was fascinated about the designs of these shields or football emblems. And seeing this kind of takes me back a little bit. I get all nostalgic over football. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like why it's also so controversial, because like nearly every football club has this kind of shield, and then if you do what Juventus did, something completely different, then. But I think it was a good change. So as we see, most of the logos have this like this combination of the letters, which is F, C, I, and M, so FC Inter Milan. But they also have these versions with the snake.
Yeah. What does the snake represent?
This was more like a secondary logo they used actually back then when they founded the club, and it was somehow it was based on some historical family from Milan, like a big influential ruling family. They had the snake, and they took it, and that's why they also still are called the Snakes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I really like the snake logo from 1960 to 1963. That's my favorite one, actually, when I look at these.
I like where we're actually going, to be quite honest. 2021.
Yeah, so this is what they did out of the latest version.
Yeah, and I think modern times call for a modern interpretation, right? I mean, if we look back at the history of the logos didn't need to work in a certain way that they do today, with different screen resolutions, different platforms where the logo has to live, also on different types of merchandise, for example. And clean is good, in my opinion, and when it's done right. And if I look at it purely from a graphic design perspective, this is good. I mean, it's reduced to its max, but it still says what it does on the tin, right? It still is a very well formed logo, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they took away some of the complexity. Mm-hmm. The F and the C, which stand for football club. So they now have just the I and the M as the main letters in this in this logo. Yeah. So they simplified it. Here again, a few more animations, how the logo was constructed.
Exactly. I think animation is also a very good example. I mean, animating some of the old logos from 1963.
That's definitely harder, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to cut the mustard, as it were.
No. So yeah, they have now like it's definitely also more balanced, you know, because before felt like slightly out of balance. But yeah, this also had some kind of uniqueness to it before because it was not too perfect. This one is right now it's kind of perfect. Okay, here again a few more logo lockups. Okay, and here some interesting background. Who did this? It's actually one of Germany's finest, Mirko Borsche or Bureau Borsche. Which, I mean, they are actually famous for becoming like the go-to design studio when it comes to fashion brands. So they did a lot of fashion brands, like huge ones like Balenciaga and Givenchy. I have actually no idea how you say that.
I'll just go with you on that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's already like a little hint to fashion. I mean, it's Milan, also one of the big fashion cities in the world. And then the designer having like a huge influence on the nowadays fashion industry.
I mean, do you think that has a lot to do with definitely a cultural shift? I mean, also if you look at like what a lot of these kind of standout football players really stand for, and the way that the way that they're presenting themselves as well, it's a lot about, you know, drip or bling or whatever you want to call it. It's really a show-off mentality. I think in a lot of cases, it's about what I have, and fashion sometimes high fashion can play into that a lot. And you're seeing a lot of the players going out there and, you know, really showcasing living this lifestyle, whether it's watches or cars or houses or whatever. I think this plays a big factor on probably the pressure from the team players themselves to say, hey, look, we're wearing this off the pitch. You know, why can't we wear this on the pitch? And, you know, to work with such a iconic studio is quite possibly, a great way to solve that, or dig deeper into that idea of how to, you know, present the new look of the team to fit the players' ideologies as well. I mean, maybe that's a bit, I don't know, is that selfish some way? Maybe that's why the true hardcore fans have a little bit of
that's the issue.
Yeah. That they because the fans are homegrown, right? But it's this kind of elitist perspective on things that the players, maybe this is just my gut feeling, are pursuing and pushing with inside of the sport. Is that a good thing?
I think there are two perspectives on that. So I understand the strategy as well, and you know why it makes sense for the clubs. But I see like the hardcore fans, they're really struggling with this direction, and you know the gap between like this lifestyle brands and then this, you know, traditional approach, and there's really love for football and, you know, going to the stadium every weekend. So that's definitely, there's a gap in between that for sure.
I think that's where like brand, I mean, there's the divide somewhat. I mean, there's the brand asset, the brand part of what we're talking about, the story. That's the controversial part, I think. The craftsmanship is another thing. But then working with such a studio also, I think, you know, it's a statement in itself as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep on looking on the brand elements. So we have here just some more logo variations. I actually like the one where are the stars around the logo. It adds some more.
Is there any reason for that?
Why I like it?
No, why they have stars? Is that part of the original logo? Or just for the hell of it?
You see that on a lot of football logos. I think when they win certain amounts of championships, then they're allowed to put like a star. I don't know, for 10 championships you get 1 star or something.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So
from
you
the
have
England football
you have this,
but
but
there's not many.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think right here it's just more like a graphical element for this academy. Okay, the color scheme. So they have I think they also simplified it to just yellow, blue, and black. I mean, yellow is also more like secondary color, I would say. They don't use it that often. But yeah, like a very bright blue. Also, when we look on this chart where they came from, it was more like a goldish kind of beige yellow, and the blue was also. Now they have definitely more like brighter and stronger colors. But I think the contrast between the black and the blue is not perfect. But overall, I like the color choice.
I was always taught or learned that black and blue should not go together.
Okay. Yeah, that's the reason why I also think the contrast is not too good.
I mean, that's 100% black. I mean, if you warmed up the black a bit, or I don't know, added something to it maybe, but still, I think the contrast, even though they are the colors of the team, black and blue don't, I think, traditionally really gel so well together. But I like the blue. I think the blue is interesting.
Yeah,
it's poppy somewhat.
And that's their colors for like since forever. So like the jersey is always black and blue stripes. Okay, typography. Yeah, so the font for the headline is called Giorgio, the Giorgio bold from Commercial Type. And then for secondary font is Universe Roman. Yeah, that's definitely like a safe way to as a for font choice. I would say there's nothing crazy about that. It's pretty safe, I would say.
Yeah, it's safe.
So
Classic.
When we look at back to the Juventus, I think they went a bit more all in when they on a type selection. So this is definitely a bit more distinctive, the font Juventus Turin is using. All right, and then here we have some patterns, and it's also like how colors and typography and then these patterns work together.
This I personally love. I think it's mad. It's great. I think that's a real kind of. I mean, I want to talk evolution, but I don't necessarily have a history with this team. But a new outward perspective on how the logo, the interpretation of the colors and everything intermixes with each other, and the typography. I think it's super modern. And I also think brands, we talk about this a lot, should be open to develop and grow and adapt. I mean, this is 2021, and there's also a new school, a new breed of potential football, an audience for football fans. I think you also need to be able to have some kind of gateway into loving a brand, and to also be able to feel like a brand understands you. And I think with a lot of the new school or the new people coming through, then this kind of thing is really appealing.
I agree. But I will not say too much on what comes next, but I mean, this is also like where I see the Bureau Borsche coming through, and their very experimental and edgy kind of approach to design. Yeah. But in the execution, which we see afterwards, there's not much left from this, to be honest.
Okay. So this is basically boardroom stuff. This is, let's get hyped about what we're doing.
Yeah.
The realization is a little bit tamer. Okay, yeah, that's the usual, isn't it? That's normally how it plays out.
And it's that's definitely a bit sad. Okay, so let's keep on looking at the campaign. So this is so it's nice because they have I and the M, so it's I am. So they played with this on the campaign. So I am bold, and I am speed, I am fearless.
I am balls.
I'm balls is your favorite, huh?
I mean, yeah, this for me is where it starts to fall apart a bit. I've seen this 1,000 times, and I'm sure you have. Like, it always seems like a very easy default campaign idea to go to I am something, or I own something. I am muesli. I am the swimming pool. I am this. It's kind of, I just think there's a much there can be a better way of storytelling. And I think actually just leaving out I am and just writing, I mean, balls is probably not the best example, but attitude, forward, future. I don't think you need that. Or champion. Yeah, I don't think you need the I'm or I am. I don't think it really does anything. It just seems like such a simple solution, which I don't think is necessarily the best one. This is, for me, the only time really so far that this thing has kind of fallen short a bit of its potential.
Yeah, and also looking here at the imagery, I really miss like a bit more, tradition and emotion. You know, that's also what more like the hardcore fans, what them connects to the club. That's very. I mean, it looks like a fashion campaign, or something like this more. Okay, here also a little video. I mean, I know because like situation right now, there's no people in the stadium, so it's hard to make this nice images now. Maybe that's the reason why it looks like this right now, that they just didn't have the opportunity to go into the stadium and have some people, some crowd, some emotions in this imagery. All right, and then obviously, what do you need when you want, become more like a lifestyle brand than a traditional football club? You make fashion collections, capsule collections.
Yes,
but that's a pretty basic one.
Yeah, it's okay, not offensive.
I'm just right. when I look at this now, I think they will never have Volkswagen as like the main sponsorship. I'm not so sure how these two logos
clash a little bit, right?
Go together.
But I'm surprised. Like we talked a lot about working with the studio and also probably the pressure from the players. I would have expected something a bit more, high end maybe, or something that kind of, in the same way the expression of the brand really pushes boundaries. I would have expected this as well, somewhat. Yeah. Like a play on the football shirt or the tricot. I don't know, just something that's a little bit, again, as controversial as the approach to the design. Yeah.
So we have here something which goes a bit more in this direction, what you're talking about. And also like they play with the patterns on this jersey.
Okay. Maybe it's something that they have in the
jersey.
Pipeline. Maybe this is
for sure. I'm sure there will come more.
All right, here we go. That's exactly what I'm saying. All right, yeah.
You need a sneaker.
You absolutely do in this day and age.
They also have like this hint for the snake.
Mm-hmm.
The snake leather.
I mean, I'm a big sneaker head, so that definitely rubs me up the right way. Nice execution. Not so sure about the snake skin for me personally, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then we just found this. Looks like a little lookbook for the brand relaunch. But yeah, I mean, when we just see how when they're flicking through the pages, for me there's something missing. Looks like a fashion lookbook.
I think that's what it's meant to look like, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, again, I need more tradition. I need emotion. I wanna see like somebody is shooting a goal or tackling the opponent player or something. That's just, there's not much football left, let's say.
Yeah.
All right, and then like a big logo outside on the facade of maybe the headquarter of Inter Milano. Sorry. Yeah, that's everything what is out there at the moment.
Actually, we actually put this to you guys as well because we were super interested, obviously because I don't have so much of an opinion as I've been a little bit quieter this time. We put it out to you guys on Instagram and asked you some of your opinions on this brand, and we got some, I think, quite interesting mix of responses. So I just wanted to kind of play those out to you a little bit and share with you what was actually said. So basically, last week we put out the brand when this was, it was about 2 weeks ago when this was launched. And Cisco, one of our followers, he says, "What the is this new Inter Milan logo?" So I don't know. That's all I heard. Maybe he likes it, maybe he doesn't. I imagine he's not such a big fan. Not Naked Studio says minimalist brutalism. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
And Anna Photographer or Anna Photography says looks horrible, very old-fashioned, and a bit like a rune. Now, I'm not sure what a rune is, but I would imagine that he did not like that either. So some kind of like mixed bag of ideas of what this brand is. One actually interesting comment was from Jochen, and he went on a little bit of a rant. He's a bit of a football guy, and he says, "Hate it, but purely for sentimental reasons. Same with Juventus. Speaking as a football fan, the new logos lose their humanity. Football clubs are defined by their history, club, coat of arms, and not to be with. At least not like this. Now it looks like just another brand logo. The PSG-fication of football." Sorry for the rant, I could go on. So you can see even the people who are not into these teams, the real hardcore fans, obviously seem to have a problem.
Yeah, I also read some comments on some blogs, and I would say 90% of them, they don't like it, and it's pretty similar to what our guys here said.
Mm-hmm.
So that they all think something gets lost. And yeah, this at this point, I think we come to our score and tell the people what is our opinion about that.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys are here not for football, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who have football in their hearts. But I'm purely going to base this on a graphic design and brand perspective. So firstly, I give it huge kudos for working with such a cutting edge design studio. I think that was really ballsy to do that. I think that's a great move. I like the fact that they actually took the challenge and actually went and tried to do something different. I think that's really great. And not being stuck in one place. It really, from a brand perspective, this kind of the idea of a brand being living and always adapting. Yes, 100%, great. Some of the execution falls a little bit short, but the pure craftsmanship of the logo, textbook works, all this kind of stuff, brand patterns and all this, and also seeing the merchandise. But again, from a brand perspective, I think some of the story is really missing. Some of that humility, some of the grassroots is really missing for me. So it's a difficult one. There's lots of pros and cons, but I would say it's going to be somewhere around a 7 for me. And it's just missing a few things that I wish could have been included in the whole execution.
Yeah, I would mostly agree. So just talking about the logo, for me, that's okay. That's a good development of the logo. It's just cleaner, simpler. It would still work, on a jersey and makes somehow sense. I think, but overall, I'm missing a bit of the whole Bureau Borsche like flair, yeah. Because I mean, if you look at their stuff, it's actually pretty cool and very playful and very edgy. Very they always try to be unseen, and I don't see that in this rebranding, to be honest. There's like a hint with when we look at the patterns, and I hope they become a bit more playful with that. But yeah, I'd really like to see more of that, more playfulness, more creativity within how they use the whole elements. the imagery, I really think there's they feel somehow soulless. Even if it's a fashion campaign, it's like a boring fashion campaign. And my score because of that is, I give it a 5.
5.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ouch.
As I said,
I want to give it more.
I want to see more history,
Yeah.
more tradition, more football actually, more emotions. I really miss that.
All right, cool. All right. Maybe that's a little bit controversial. We kind of agree on some of the things. The scores were a little bit different this week. But as always, we really want to hear your comments. So drop some comments in the comment section below and let us know if you agree with us or if you disagree with us. And as always, if you haven't already, subscribe. It really helps us to grow the channel, and like this video if you liked it. And once again, thank you for spending the time with us. If you've reached this point in the video, awesome work. I know they're always long ones, but hopefully they're insightful for you guys. And we will see you in the next one.
Yo. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm trying new things every time. Let's see.
I like it. Bye-bye.